Graybeard Gaming. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Graybeard Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Scott, and Santa's watching Twitter. As always, I have with me Liam and David, and this week we're going to talk a little bit about Sony and welcoming the holidays with some stories from Christmases long, long ago. So let's get into the meat and potatoes and talk about what we have been playing this week. Liam, let's start with you this week. What have you been playing?
I have played and finished Dragon Age, and
yes,
the ending of that game,
And?
I absolutely adored it.
Really?
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Turn you up a little bit. There we go.
I only need one more achievement, which kind of annoyed me. So I was like, I'm gonna have to play like through half a playthrough just to get one achievement now.
Oh, you're an achievement hunter, are you?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like literally most of the achievements are pretty doable in that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so all the stuff that happened, I just had most of the achievements. But there's like one story achievement that I missed, and I didn't want to like search it up because I might get spoiled. Now
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have to just go
yeah, I
back
got it,
and
yeah.
Go back and do that. But I absolutely loved it. You know, I know people have their problems with it, but I think the game itself is fine, and I love the story and message it sent.
nice.
Cool. Awesome.
And
Well, that's
you know that game was like what 60 hours in the whole playthrough.
Really?
Which is fine. You know, that's
yeah,
a good,
60 hours is good.
That's a
If
good
you said like
number.
80 or 90, I'd be like, God, that's so exhausting.
You know, but you know, 60 hours literally for most everything, and I didn't have a single bug or issue. And
Yeah.
that's rare now these days. Oddly enough, I
It
did
is.
get, like,
It is
some bug-
very rare.
Oddly enough, I got some bugs afterwards, but in my playthrough, I didn't get anything. Like it was solid, absolute solid. So
Wow.
I really enjoyed it.
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
I'm glad. As a longtime Dragon Age fan,
Yeah.
I did not like what I played, but if you like it, it's good. What would you not to completely review it, but what would you give a score on it, like 1 to 10?
I'll give it an 8.
Really? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Pretty good.
And it made me want to play the other Dragon Age games, so I have to go back to them and play them again.
Origins is so dark. Oh God, there's some
Yeah.
decisions that you make in that are just like,
Yeah.
ugh.
I think that's what has made this sort of game not liked, because it didn't feel that dark, and they played it
No,
safe.
not at all.
I mean, there are some dark stuff that happens, but the whole general vibe of the game doesn't feel dark.
No.
If it did, it would be on another level, I think. But yeah, they played it very safe.
Yeah, they're very
And
safe.
you're taking a very Star Wars approach now. You're playing this, and then you're going back in time. And then if you play like Origins, you're gonna listen to the past story
Yeah,
and see how it all happened.
the original.
And
Yeah.
you know, there is a part in the game where like, why is this happening? And it's not till the end that it pays off. And if it pays off
okay.
for you, it's really good. If you know it already, well, I don't think it'll affect you that much. But I didn't know. I didn't know what was happening, and then it happens, and I was just like mind blown, surprised.
You have to
and,
be
like,
so vague.
I know I have to be very on it, but yeah, just I was so shocked, and yeah, it put the game up there for me. I was like, I did not see that coming.
Wow.
So
Nice.
That's good. That's hard to do these days, I think, because we're all, we've seen so many movies, played so many games. It's hard to kind of put that spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can go. My wife gets mad at me, as dumb as I am. A lot of times we can watch a movie and I'm just like, oh, I figured it out. She's like, what is it? And I said, you really want to tell you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I told her. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, oh my God, you were so right. How did you know?
yeah.
I'm like, because it's stupid.
I can
It's
do that.
not
I
poor
can do that in
writing.
movies too. Yeah, I can do that in movies too sometimes. I mean, people probably knew. People
Yeah.
probably knew. I just went in so blind on this game that I just took me by surprise. But other people probably knew. But I can do that in movies where someone's watching a movie, and I just looked at 2 minutes of this. I've never seen this movie before in my life. And I just went, he's gonna fall down. That's gonna blow up.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. So how do you know?
Yeah.
It was just staring at me probably like a video game with a red barrel. You know what's
because it's everything has been done. Like everything is,
Yeah.
it's a little predictable. But yeah, if they can do that, if they can still put a spin on something to catch you off guard, then well done. So
it's like that one guy that walks into the room and you're like, he's dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's next.
Or that guy's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, he's the bad guy. He's the real bad guy.
Yeah.
That guy's a jerk. I think he's the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that guy throw a piece of paper on the floor. So, but good.
Nice.
We can now close the book on Dragon
Did you
Velgard.
Did you exclusively like put all your time into that, or did you like jump to another game, or you were just like hyper focused on that?
I was very hyper focused on that for the longest time. I did get Balatro actually, who talked about.
Oh yeah. Game of
How
the
is
year
that?
contender.
That's what I really want to know about.
Yeah.
Because that was like 12 quid. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll get it. And game of the year, I don't know, but I could see how it's very addicting.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah, it's basically poker on steroids, and in like in a sort of RPG mechanic, not RPG, but rogue mechanic. You basically have to sort of beat the AI on this poker hand, and how it works is the cards have like a certain number of chips to them. Like if an ace counts as 11, right?
Yeah.
And then you make poker hands, and that's like, oh, because you made a poker hand, that's like times 5, and now you've got 500 chips, and each AI is you've got to have so many chips to beat them. It's genuinely how it works. But they have like loads of different sort of abilities and buffs and debuffs on every single hand you play.
So is that based on like what cards you pull? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, does it have strategy, like a strategy mechanic to it? Like, are you using your brain when you're playing it, or are you just like?
I mean, you kind of have to. You do have to. You do have to use a brain a lot because there's a certain number of hands that you play.
Oh, okay.
So you can only play like 4 or 5 hands.
Oh, okay.
You can also discard some cards as well. So you've got a number of them and a number of hands to play. So you do have to sort of think about it. Like, do you test your luck on a poker hand? On a chance that you might get a card. And then sometimes you get debuffs, so you can't chuck any cards away and you have to play them. Which might be all terrible, you lose. So it's a fun game to get in, especially if you like poker. If you like poker, this is definitely a game that people will like. And I can see how it's addicting. Because first few games I was
Gotta
like,
get Gina on it.
damn it.
Yeah.
Game of the year though?
Yeah, that would be my question. It seems like that slot could have gone to something else.
Yeah, I mean, if it's popular,
Space Marine 2.
I mean, if it's popular and it sells well, but yeah, I don't know what qualifies as game of the year.
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later and probably shed some light on it. So, but that's good. I might check that out. I'm really leery about this. If games, well, as far as luck, like I will play a scratch off and then it'll just be like negative $4, and I end up having to give the clerk like $4. So, but if it has a strategy element to it, then I would be more interested in that. But yeah. So it is kind of weird that you just said that you gave Dragon Age an 8, and this game is a contender for Game of the Year. Seems kind of odd, doesn't it? Yeah.
I know.
Weird. So cool. Is that what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, pretty much. Playing them and can't remember much else really. So yeah, just mainly just finished up Dragon Age, and now I just want to do the rest again.
Yeah.
So that's where my mind's at right now.
Yeah, if you're left wanting more, then they did their job. David, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, I have the week of Thanksgiving off, so I am living I'm retired life right now.
Oh my God, yeah, the whole week off.
Every time I have like a week off, I'm like, I'm retired, But I've been pretty much bouncing between Zombies Black Ops, Sims, and I introduced a third one. I've been playing this game called Genshin Impact.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you ever heard of it? It's like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Japanesey,
Yeah. Is
you
that an
know.
indie game? Little
No.
tiny game. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I thought it looked cool, and then I remember downloading it on my phone, and I never played it on my phone. I downloaded it was like a game I
Yeah, that's
downloaded
what I
and never
do.
played.
I download games on my phone all the time, and
And
then
then
I
I
never
deleted
play
it.
them.
Yeah. And then I saw it was on Xbox, and I was like, I'd much rather play this with a controller.
Hmm.
And you had to set up an account, and I was like, I'm not doing all this shit. This is, email. Fuck this.
Yeah.
But then I clicked on it, and it was like, it just uses your Xbox account, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't have to really do anything. I don't have to fill anything out. So I did that, and yeah, it's cool. It's like very sort of like I'm reminiscent of like that cartoony RPG, Japanesey, annoying girl talking to you. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And my wife is looking
Bunny.
at me like, this girl's fucking annoying. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just Japanese, honey.
There's that
it's
character is in every
it's
game,
this
TV
kind of
show.
game,
Yep.
and yeah. So, but we were you can. I'm pretty sure you can play like 2-player co-op, and we were
Yeah.
trying to get past the tutorial in it, and we were playing for a while, and she's like, when am I going to be able to play with you? I still can't play with you. I'm like, I don't know. And then I looked it up, and it's like you have to get to adventurer level 6, not your character level, adventurer level 6. That's your whole thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not 6, 16, 16. And
Oh.
I was
Wow.
like 4, and the way you
Wow.
level that part up is by doing adventuring type shit like, chests and ruins and killing enemies. So I was like, this is gonna fucking take forever. Why, she don't have the patience for this. Gina don't have the patience for this. No fucking way. So I've been playing it for the past couple of days. It's cool. It has its addictive moments to it, but ultimately, it's probably a 6.
Yeah.
Kind of a game. But yeah, I've been just enjoying that. And the Black Ops zombie thing, I'm starting to get really bored. When I play it with my brother-in-law and my wife, they just want to go through rounds, and I'm like, I can't keep just going through rounds. We got to
Yeah.
do something else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
help me do these Easter eggs. Oh, we
Yeah.
don't know how to do them. I'm like, I'll show you how to do them. I watched enough YouTube.
Yeah,
I think I know how to do it, at least the first little bit of it.
Hmm.
That's how I
So-
am with like the zombies. Like people just go high rounds. It bores me like 20 rounds in.
Yeah.
It's like, let's do something.
Yeah, it gets exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah. We just played it like maybe an hour or two ago, and there was one guy in our game. We just joined a random game. There was one guy in our game who was doing the Easter eggs right when I was trying to do them. So like I would go to an area and they'd be like, "Oh, this shit is already done." Like what the hell, So yeah, we were just playing the rounds, but I would have liked to try the Easter egg thing. I think maybe if we play again tonight. I don't know if you're not busy tonight.
I mean,
or tomorrow if you guys want to jump
yeah,
on.
if you want to do them, I'm down to do them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was easy.
I'll
Twist
never-
my
I'll never turn-
arm.
Yeah, I will never turn down the chance to do some Easter eggs.
Nice. You could probably use that
Cool,
after
cool.
slaying dragons for a little bit. You can
Yeah,
switch
yeah,
to shooting zombies.
Yeah.
Let's get zombies. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played
Yeah, yeah.
a Genshin Impact for a little bit. It reminded me a little bit like Zelda.
Yeah, it has that Breath of the Wild
Kind of
feel
aesthetic to it.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't play it for
mhm.
long though. But so I didn't get to play a lot this week. My as you know, I've had this ongoing thing with my dad being in the hospital. So he's now out of the hospital. He's in a rehab to get some of his strength back. He lost about 30 pounds.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Being in the ICU. So so they're helping him. He's going to get to go home Thanksgiving Day to eat and then go back to the rehab. So he's pretty happy about that.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's,
good.
yeah, and it happens to be like 3 minutes from my sister's house. So he can call her,
Yeah.
every like 5 minutes for the next 2 weeks. So, but yeah, he's doing good and everything. So I got that done. And then I got the new PC. So I got the old PC set up for my wife, Valheim Gal. So she's now streaming on PC Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
she's ascended. Um, and I downloaded Steam. She created an account and got Valheim, and she was playing it. And I came back there later, and she was just almost in tears. She's like, I don't want to do this. I want my Xbox back because there's nothing here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I don't have anything. There's nothing. It's like a new account and everything. And I'm like, no, just click on the Xbox app. I downloaded Valheim for you there. And she clicked on it, and she's like, oh, there's all my stuff. Like, yeah, there you go. She's like, oh yeah, PC's awesome. So that's all it took. But it's funny. It's like when I 2 years ago I went from console to PC, and you have the same. Watching somebody do that, it's the reactions are the same. The verbiage is different, but the reactions are same. Like she's played Valheim like consistently, nonstop for the last like 6 months. So she's got it like maxed out on everything. She's playing it, like 80 frames per second, and she plays for a little bit. And I walk in there and say, "How's it going?" She goes, "There's shadows. Like this stuff has shadows." And I'm like, yeah, it's got shadows. You don't get that on the Xbox. And she's like, wow, I can even line this up using the sun. I'm like, yeah, So it's really fun to see somebody kind of, discover what. Yeah. And she's like, I can see the islands across the water. I'm like, yeah, that's called draw distance. You have that now. It's not just like 4 feet in front of you. Because she had been playing on an Xbox Series S for years, since it came out. Yeah. So it's graphically and everything. She just bought a new monitor, unbeknownst to me. She's like, she called me earlier. And she's like, yeah, make sure my monitor is in before it rains. I'm like, okay.
Monitor.
So, yeah, like 32-inch 1440p monitor, and I'm like, wow. So I think she's good. I think she's converted fine. But yeah, so by getting my new PC, and I won't talk a lot about it. I don't like to talk about PC specs and stuff like that. I don't it's kind of like that guy at the office, that's like, yeah, man, I got a Hemming charger and I got this, 4,200 RPM, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But I did get something equivalent 2 years later to what I had before. So I just got just spent about the same amount of money. And, of course, you get a lot more if you wait 2 years. But I played Space Marines 2. Holy shit. It automatically put everything at ultra. And the frame rate's like through the ceiling. And it's just like, holy shit, this looks real.
It handles it?
Oh, my God.
Did you get the 4K Ultra pack they did?
No, but... Yeah, I don't want to do that, right? I was like, oh, this looks so good. Now it's 30 frames per second. Thanks, Liam. No, I think it recommended 16 gig of VR or VRAM, and I don't quite have that. But no, it looks really good. So nice. I got it set up, and I'm on it right now, obviously, but just in time for Stalker 2 to come out. So I've been playing Stalker 2, and it's really weird. This game is kind of bizarre. The discourse is all over the place. I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers saying it's broken, it's not working, it's buggy, it's garbage, it's, this. I haven't had any problems with this game whatsoever. I haven't had any performance issues. I've had a couple of bugs. There was a weird bug where, like, I was in a room, and the guy I was talking to talked to another guy. And when he talked to the other guy, he looked in the opposite direction when he talked to him. That was it. I mean, that was had no. I mean, it was just kind of like, that's goofy.
Maybe you just didn't like him. I'm going to talk to you this way.
Yeah. You can go to the zone. I don't give a shit. But it's bug wise, I don't know what they're talking about. Either that, or maybe it's on the console side, or I could understand the performance on a console side, but bugs and stuff, I really haven't.
I downloaded it to console. I haven't tried it yet because of the discourse I'm hearing of bugs. So I think there is going to be a patch.
Well, download it on PC. PC. So, it did have a day one patch.
Yeah.
It was
5 patches before launch.
Yeah, but wait, you could preload it for like $140 245, I think, gig.
Yeah.
And then day one, the patch was 159 gig.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so
And
it was
then,
a
like,
completely
minute,
different version. I mean, it was just...
then like a minute later, it got like another 40 gig.
It did,
Like,
yeah.
What's
it
the
did.
point of preloading at this point?
Yeah,
Wow.
true. It makes me wonder what version these guys are playing. You know, did they play an early release that didn't have that day one? I don't know.
I mean, possibly.
I haven't had any
I mean,
issues,
because
man.
especially if they have like early review copies, they're probably gonna be more broken than anything.
That's true.
Because
true.
if we
I
have
mean,
if we have 3 patches on like day one, who
I
knows
know-
what version that is?
I know somebody. I think it was ACG. That I think they said they were waiting for the review because they were waiting for the patch.
Yeah.
Because they had played the game, but they were waiting to see if the patch, you know. So maybe that is a thing. I don't know, but I haven't had a lot of issues. It is a little janky just as far as the way it works and everything. But this game is not. I could see why some people are not liking this game. For one, there is no plucky little character that's you know, telling you what to do or telling you how to play the game. I mean, it just doesn't have that. And Stalker 2 it's a hard game. I should start there. It is difficult. The combat is not balanced. And so I made a list. Dogs, walking brains, rats, water, floor, gunfire, lightning, flowing leaves, a flame on the ground, a red sky. What do these have in common? They all kill you. They will all kill you. Every one of them. Everything will kill you. Just everything. Like, oh, look, those leaves are... You walk through it, you're dead. The sky turns red, you're dead. Thunderstorm,
why?
you're dead.
Chihuahua, dead.
Yeah.
Why does walking through something kill you? I mean,
Well,
I
there's
understand,
these...
I understand enemies.
Well, that's it. It doesn't tell you this, but you're in the zone, man. So you're in the and it's right. It's like Chernobyl area, Pripyat, you know, in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So it looks like that. It looks like northern Mississippi to me. But the game looks really good, but it's dreary. You know, it's very Ukrainian, and it's also, you know, Fallout-ish. So it like looks really good, but the area is just torn and broken and, you know, that kind of thing. But it's a lot of the areas are very, you would think that it would be like, oh, they're just reusing assets like over and over again. But that's what this area really is like. And if you play games now, I didn't play the first Stalker. Did anyone of you play this first Stalker?
No.
I
did
remember
wanna
when
play
it
this
came
one.
out, it was like, oh, there ain't no way my PC's running that thing.
Yeah.
I can see everybody's saying this is just like the first one, just updated. I can see where a lot of games have taken inspiration from Stalker, obviously. Tarkov is one of them. It looks a lot like Tarkov, or vice versa. In the Radius is, I didn't realize this, but it's basically a VR Stalker game. So it doesn't tell you anything, you know. It's the only thing you get is like, this guy's like, hey, there's some anomalies out there. Take this bolt and throw it in it. And you're like, it is a bolt, like a screw bolt. Nothing special, nothing's not magic. Just so you throw it and it disrupts the anomaly and you can run through it before it comes back. So you have those, and you have this little detector that will detect the anomalies. So you have these artifacts that you can find that give you abilities, or you can sell them, or, you know, whatever. And it beeps when there's one close by, so you can kind of run in there and get it, but throwing bolts and stuff. And you'll die, you know, first couple of times. So it's ends up kind of being a hybrid between Fallout and DayZ. So it's a survival game-ish with a story, sorta. see how it's kind of like it's not like just one specific thing. And there is you have to kind of change the way you approach this game. So on the surface, like I said, I've seen a lot of people playing. It's like, I don't understand. It's frustrating. Even I streamed day one, streamed it, and I got a little frustrated because There was a guy standing in front of me. I threw a grenade. It landed at his feet, blew up. He flew up and then landed on his back. And I'm like, ha. No, he got up and started shooting me. I'm like, that. Like, wait a minute, that's. But it does make you really conserve what you have.
Yeah.
So in another instance, I had a pistol and I had 2 rounds. And that's it. That's all I had. And there were 3 guards. And I couldn't get out of this building and get to where I needed to go. So, of course, I tried a couple things and got shot. I ended up, just waiting till one of them got close enough, and you can headshot them. So I killed one of them, and the other 2 start shooting at me, and I go around the building, and I come out the other side and go back around. The whole place is in a fence, so you're not going anywhere, but I had to come back around. And then they were pointed at the door where I was previously. So I snuck up to one of the guys and popped him in the head. Or got close enough to shoot him, and then killed him, and then went back around. And I walked back through the building, and then I snuck out the door, and he had walked around the corner. So I was able to get to one of those dead guys, get their gun, get their ammo, and then shoot the other guy. So it's not like you're just, having to be quick on the draw. You really got to think about each step that you make. There's that risk and reward. So, if you walk up to a town, and all the towns look very similar because in that area, in the Ukraine, they do look, they're workhouses, so they all look pretty much the same. But you're like, hey, the last one I went to, I found a gun. Now, I can go to that town, and there can be these walking brain things that will kill you, some little rats that will kill you, some bigger rats, anomalies, or some soldiers that are just, going to shoot you on sight. So you got to kind of sneak in and see if there's anything there. And what you'll find is if there's something there, there's something to find. So you have to kind of figure out, how to do that. Plus, if you walk into a camp and there's people by a fire and you have your gun up, they'll just stand up and shoot you. You're dead. But if you put your gun away, even if they're bad guys, they're like, hey, what are you doing? Who are you? They'll stop and question you. They're not so quick to just shoot you. They'll stop to try to figure out what you're doing. And sometimes you can talk your way out of it, So it just approaches everything a little bit different. But the story, I can't tell you shit about the story. I don't know anything, because it's just so. It's like a lot of games where, and I'll give you an analogy, like a real life analogy, right? So you go to this dude, or you go to Wendy's, right? You go into Wendy's and you go, I want a Frosty. And they go, oh man, I'd love to make you a Frosty, but the Frosty machine, Doug took one of the parts. I can't operate it without that part. But if you go talk to Doug and get it back, I'll get you a Frosty. I'm like, okay. So I'll go talk to Doug. And Doug's like, I'm not giving that part back. I took it. He said, but I tell you what, I'll give it to you if you run this guy off that's likes my sister. He's no good. And if you can get rid of him, I'll give you this part back. I'm like, okay, whatever. Where is he? It's Jimmy over there. So you go talk to Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, I don't know what he's talking about. We're in love. We're going to run off together. So then you got a choice. It's like, do you help Jimmy run off with this dude's sister? Or do you punch Jimmy in the face? Well, I'll punch Jimmy in the face. Then the sister comes out and goes, oh my God, thank God, he was holding me hostage. Here's some money, and take this money back to my brother and tell him, thank you. And you take that back to Doug. Doug's like, oh wow, that's great news. Here's your part. And you go back to this dude at Wendy's and say, here's your part for your machine. And you know what? Fuck that, Frosty. I don't even want it anymore. And then it was like, what was the point? It was just a total go here and do this and this and this.
Yeah.
So the overall story, I'm lost. I've just gotten to where I don't get it. Plus, it's you guys haven't played the Metro games.
No.
And I told you that they do
a little bit. I play a little bit of it.
Yeah. So that everything it's in English, but everybody has a Russian accent.
Right.
It's not my favorite accent, but there's a lot of dialogue in those games. They talk a lot, but it's usually very good voice acting. In this game, it is English, but if you go into a camp, it's like you talk to one guy and he's like, "Oh, hello, yeah, you go over here, yeah, you got that over there, yeah," and then you go talk to this other guy and he's like, "Yeah, man, I got these in the back. You want one of those in the refrigerator?" It's like, where the fuck am I? Like, what? This dude's got like, there's a guy over there that I haven't run into anybody that sounds Ukrainian or. It's like it's all over the place, man. It's just so bizarre. It's like they handed these out to voice actors and didn't give them any context whatsoever about where they are, and So, so it's kind of funny. Everyone's like, just use the subtitles. I'm like, well, that doesn't work either, because if there's something that is pressing, or something that's the dialogue is part of the drama, much like if you were watching Empire Strikes Back for the first time with subtitles, it would be, I am your father. And then he would turn and say, I am your you know what I mean? I mean, it's like there's timing to these things. So that's why, personally, I prefer dubbed because of that. But so other than that, though, I'm really enjoying it. I think if you play it and get over that first little hump and know that this is a thinking man's shooter. You have to think about what you're doing, and you have to plan, and you have to, pick what you take and not grab everything. There's a lot of facets to it that the more I play it, the more I'm enjoying it. So, also downloaded Nightingale, which is a survival game that I've never played before. It's on sale, and I just flat out bought it, dude. Downloaded it. I'm gonna probably play that sometime soon. So
for PC.
Yep. Yeah, it looked neat. It looks almost like I was watching. This is so stupid. I was watching so many videos, and I went to Steam, and it was on sale, and I clicked on it, and I was watching something else, and then I went back, and I'm like, "Is that Avowed?" And I'm like, "No, it's not." But the aesthetics are very close. There for a second, I was like, "What am I watching?" And I had to back out of the video. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm on Steam watching a video for a game." So. Yeah, I'll bring that one to the table next week. So, yeah, but that's it. Yeah, so I'm gonna play some more Stalker. And
the thing that stopped me from playing Stalker, because me and Gina really were thinking about playing it, was it doesn't have multiplayer.
Yeah, there's no co-op. There's no anything.
Yeah,
I
think it's going to add some later down the line. Some multiplayer and other modes. Yeah.
Okay.
Co-op would be good, but I could see how you would, if you had somebody else with you, especially when you have to be quiet, and you have to like sneak, or it would just be a little more chaotic, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know about co-op,
it could
but
work.
they did, I don't know about co-op, but they did say multiplayer is coming.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
Interesting. They're just Tarkov. It's just gonna scatter players on your map. Just whatever. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, let's get to a couple of things here that just broke. I don't want to get you guys' opinion on this. Sony is making a handheld, not the Portal, an actual handheld, and obviously, I'm thinking that this is probably in retaliation to Microsoft just, casually announcing that they're making a handheld as well. What do you guys think about this, and do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a very good idea.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's going to create competition in the market, which is ultimately what we want. Yeah, I mean, that's I probably won't get it. But I think that PlayStation is going to maybe take a page out of Xbox's book and start maybe trying to do some streaming. Do they have streaming now? I don't even know.
They do. They stream. Well, what they say is backwards compatibility is really just streaming PS3 games. I don't think there's anything they have that plays them natively.
No,
I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so.
Not on the PS3. They did actually add the feature that the Portal should actually do is cloud play.
Right.
Without PS5.
Yeah.
They actually added that recently.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what it should be. If they make a handheld, I guess it's a years away, but everyone got a Portal. It's like, really going to make a handheld now?
Yeah,
no, I think it's good, because if they want a portable PS5, that'd be quite awesome, to be honest. So portable, like this generation, handhelds in a couple of years' time. Yeah, why not?
Well,
that
I'll
would-
tell you why. Because I think you're both wrong. I think this is foolish and stupid. They're following Xbox just like they always do. Sony needs to stop making hardware other than their console. They need to focus on a PS6, and they need to get their shit together. Did either one of you have a PS Vita?
No.
Oh, no,
Yeah, I did.
no.
It was a solid handheld console.
Piece of garbage. Oh,
No,
it was.
it was good, but I mean, you could stream your PS4, so you could play your PS4 games on it. And then it had its own games and had its own exclusive games that were made for the Vita.
Yeah.
The problem was is that it was very underpowered, and the games that came out were lackluster, and they dropped it. They dropped it at less than 2 years. They just went, much like they're
Yeah.
going to do with the Portal. They're going to figure out that whoever wanted a Portal's bought one, and then that's pretty much it. There's no room for anything they're doing for a handheld, and especially if it's on par with the PS5. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X over the last couple of years have shown to be underpowered, especially with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 has just crippled consoles considerably. We're now, in 2024 playing games at fucking 30 FPS. They're not making a handheld that's going to outperform that or do any better. If anything, it will be a lesser quality.
No, of course it wouldn't be better. No,
Well,
I mean, no, it's-
but when is it coming out? Is it going to come out with the PS6, or is it going to come out between now and the PS6? If you have a handheld come out and it will play, hey, this will play PS5 games, and then a year later announce a PS6, what the fuck are you doing? Like
Yeah,
what?
I could see that.
You're going to have that so many, like 1 million of those people buy whatever it is because it's got PlayStation written on it, and then after that it's they're going to ditch it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you could say that, but how this generation played out was still on PS4. So
Yeah, and why?
so-
Because they had more players on PS4 than they did on PS5. Up until just recently, it was like 52%.
yeah, but like if we get into the next generation, and Microsoft will do the same thing too. We get the next generation of consoles. I think Microsoft want to do a Series S type console and a Series X again.
Well,
But I think the difference will be the Series S will be a handheld. So,
I think that would also be a mistake. I think if they release a handheld, the Surface team is doing, I think, both the handheld and the new console. If they release a handheld PC as a Surface that will play Xbox games, you're golden. You're good. If you sell it as a Surface, you can plug a keyboard and mouse and a monitor up to it. It's a PC. It's absolutely 100% a PC. You're not limited to Xbox games. Your Xbox games are now everywhere. And guess what? With this Xbox device, you can play any of your games anywhere. Period.
yeah.
Much like a ROG Ally or the Lenovo. So that would be a win, and that is the competition in the market. Sony's not going to do that. Sony's just going to be, this will just play PlayStation games only. It will be your exclusives. It will be, just for Sony. It's not something that they're going to make that you're going to be able to play anything else on. And then in a market where you have devices now that play anything, that's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea. And Sony keeps making these decisions. This is why Sony is in trouble. Where are your fucking games, yo? Where's the games? Where are these 12 live service games that they announced 2 years ago? 6 of them have been delayed or canceled. One of them came out and holy shit, did it just burn up and it might as well have been somebody striking a match. They've got another one that's supposed to come out next year, and everybody's looking at it like, that looks just like Concord. They've got nothing on their plate right now. They've got nothing. They've got Wolverine, and that's about it. Santa Monica Studios is supposedly not working on another God of War game because sales for Ragnarok were not as good as the first one. Horizon 2 sales were not as good as the first one. That is a very bad sign. If you have a sequel come out and you're selling less than the first one, that means that the interest in that game has diminished. There's a lot of people that bought that first game that did not like it, and they are not buying that second game, period. So Sony's not doing great. For them to announce that they're making a handheld just makes them look stupid because everyone knows they just do everything Xbox does, just at a lesser degree.
Yeah.
So it's I don't understand why they do this, but they just seem so blinded. And I personally think it would just be a bad idea. I really do, for them. And they're trying to buy, what's the publisher that owns From Software?
I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the one From Software.
Yeah.
Actually, I read the story. I don't think it's about From Software at all. I mean,
No, it's about
From
anime.
Software, yeah.
Yeah, they own all anime.
Shouldn't that be investigated by this FTC or anything? Because they own anime. They've got anime in the corner.
It's not an American company.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
So,
That doesn't fall under the Federal Trade Commission unless Sony America is buying something in America. I think that's how that works. But this not.
What about like would there be like a Japanese equivalent or anything?
I'm
Because
sure
if they're
there
just
is.
buying every corner of anime.
The JTC?
Yeah, the JTC.
I don't know. Is there a JTC? I don't know, but yeah, that's they've sent them a letter of intent to buy. Now, what that usually means is that, hey, we're going to buy all your shares. Are you okay with this? And then they if they say okay, then they get all the legalities out of the way. If they say they're not okay with this, then it's like then they go to court, and then they're like, then it's just kind of a fight. It's likely that they will buy it. Now, the anime, I think, is probably, I don't really know anything about that, so I don't know how that market is gonna change.
Yeah.
From Software, I'm guessing they'll probably just do they'll just let them keep doing what they're doing. I mean, they're a golden goose. Just leave them alone. Let them do what they're doing. Keep everything multi-plat, and you'll just rake in cash. But here we go. This is Sony. It's very possible that they'll go, no. You're exclusive now. Everything from Software is now going to be exclusive, and you just cut your income in half from that studio.
Yep.
So they're just I don't get it, man. They're so bent on their own. They're gonna die on their own cross. Literally, like it's just maddening to see that.
Yeah.
And not to mention that Microsoft is just like, oh yeah, we're making handheld. When's it coming out? Fuck if I know. 20 years from now, whatever. Jesus. But anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I'm usually wrong. So,
I mean, personally, I think everyone having a handheld is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like handhelds. I had my Steam Deck. I loved it.
I think the Switch really reinvigorated the whole handheld market, and now everyone wants to do a handheld.
Yeah, compete with Nintendo. That always goes well.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I just compete with Nintendo sort of games, but
I actually think Microsoft should jump into the virtual VR game. I think they need to start competing with Facebook, if anything.
Yeah,
even if they could just partner with them though at the same time.
They can make VR games and no hardware needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got PC.
Well, they had a mixed reality lens. At one point.
The HoloLens, they sold that to the U.S. government for like billions of dollars. So,
okay.
Yeah, they made their money back, and then went back and went, we're not going to do another one. I think because their contract was came up. And they were just
I think they've already partnered with MetaQuest on a couple of things already. Like this is for Xbox, because you can cloud game and
I've tried that. It works brilliantly. If you want to play your games on like a 90-inch curved screen, I mean, if you're crazy like that, It,
If
it
your
works.
eyes are like,
I know you're like, oh my god, there's somebody shooting me from over there. Yeah.
where's this guy shooting me from? Hang on a second.
Right. From my bathroom. Yeah.
Where's this guy?
Yeah, it is, and you can. What's funny is though, is you can make it smaller, of course, and then the resolution gets bigger. But you're not going to do that. You're going to make it as big as possible,
Yeah.
and the resolution starts to start to break up. But it's like, you're looking at like the gun in front of you is the size of a Buick. It gets a little ridiculous, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
I don't think the VR market's going to, will get that sort of practicality of
Yeah,
mass
like having like a Halo VR mode or stuff like that. I don't know if that's gonna. But
I think VR's been on a downturn, to be quite honest. I don't know how the
Oh,
sales
okay.
are. Not the sales are bad, but
I
for
think
like a
that
mass
it's
adoption,
stagnant.
I don't think it'll
yeah.
happen. Yeah, I think they're hitting a wall really right now with
Yeah.
the technology we have. So they need to make it a lot cheaper for one thing.
Well, I mean, at $299, I mean that's pretty fucking cheap, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
how much was the PSVR 2 at first? Like,
$540.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
The price,
exact-
the prices
exactly.
were stopping,
exactly.
and then
So-
needing a PlayStation to play it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's the kind of thing that happens, and I don't know how VR works, but like, VR games aren't great sometimes. So
yeah, it's hit or miss.
It's always
Yeah.
it's always that sort of in between. They're in that in between sort of.
It's a
hit and
niche.
flop.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it can either go one way or the other. We all went crazy for like the Wii and motion controls, and Xbox went, "Hey, Connect for everyone," and everyone went, "No."
yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
the market kind of turns on stuff like that, and the games help. Like I said recently, like Batman is really good, and then Metro Awakening, I'm not really having fun with that at all. I'm just trying to get through it because I bought it. It's just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
terribly good.
Yeah, because another thing, right? You remember the Xbox avatars?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new ones that they did. They're shutting down next year
Yep.
because
Oh,
they
really?
did absolutely nothing with them. Nothing with them at
Yeah.
all.
Well, that's
they
Microsoft.
they made them,
Mm-hmm.
and then nothing happened. Like we wanted Avatar games or something.
Yeah, it's like you want to upgrade your avatar. Sure, give us $10. Okay.
It's like,
No.
but yeah, if you don't have that interest in any developer side, yeah, you're it's gonna die. It's just gonna die.
Yeah.
That's why we Connect. That's why with the avatars, VR might be hit or miss.
PlayStation handheld.
So you need that demand, or things will die off. And
Yep.
VR, I think, is just in its niche right now. I don't know how many people really want it to stay. But I mean,
It's
game
doing
support.
good. VR is
Yeah.
doing good. Don't let somebody tell you that it's dead or anything like that.
No,
It's
no,
doing
I mean,
really
nothing-
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just now getting into high quality resolution on games
Yeah.
for a headset that is not tethered to anything. I mean,
Yeah,
that is
right.
where you want it. You don't have a cable
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of your head, or
Yeah.
we're getting to that point, and the games
Yeah.
are getting better. And even just the little games. I play a game that's called Compound. This thing is amazing. It looks like Wolfenstein, like the first Wolfenstein, like Wolfenstein 3D. But it's in a VR game, and it's the color palette's like really like 5 colors, but it's fun as shit. I mean, everything that you do is fun, and it's like a $15 game. There's a lot of fun stuff there, but again, it's just like the AAA market right now. Every AAA game has to be for every single person. And when you make games for everyone, you make games for no one. No one's going to want your game. So the VR, it is quirky and as experimental as it is, it's starting to make those games for everybody. Metro Exit or Metro Awakening is like that. It's like, this is just like Metro. It's not. It's fucking boring is what it is. It's not scary. It's not atmospheric. It's the story is boring. It's just boring, you know? But it makes it look like it is that AAA experience.
Yeah.
It's just they'll get there. They'll make the mistakes, and hopefully they'll, you know, kind of turn it back around, because there's some really cool stuff to do in VR, and some of these newer games just aren't doing them. You're not doing anything in VR that is really cool. So anyway.
I get that.
All right, let's move on really quickly to just the update for the Video Game Awards. We talked last week about those, and what was absent from their website was the people that actually vote on the nominees. The advisory board is now up, and this is what's funny. This says the advisory board helps guide and advance the mission of the Game Awards, but it doesn't say what the mission is.
Mission. I love that mission. Like it's a top secret thing. We're on the mission, guys.
Yeah. So you've got the president of Activision, the CEO of AMD, president of EA, Phil Spencer, Hideo Kojima, just because, you know, president of Nintendo and Rockstar, Sony, you know, the heavy hitters, Valve, you know, the people that, you know, basically own the industry. So that's an advisory board. It doesn't really tell it what it is, but
the 1%.
The 1%, exactly.
The
now,
1%ers.
the people that voted on the nominees is, and again, you would some of the people you would expect: Gamertag Radio, Game Rant, Digital Trends, GameSpot, IGN, of course, Giant Bomb, GamesBeat, LA Times, Pride, Rolling Stone, The Atlantic, NPR, Variety Magazine, fucking Metro, The Guardian, The Mirror.
Why do our tabloids? Speaking from the UK here, why do our tabloids?
I don't know.
Why are we voting on the Game Awards? They're tabloids.
I mean, I understand they probably
Walgreens.
Yeah, I know,
Walmart,
right?
Walmart.
McDonald's.
Gary that works at the Dixie Queen. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that all of these people have like writers, you know, journalists but I just this is not the gaming industry. I'm sorry, but this is just not. These are not the peers that. I don't understand what he's trying to do with this. He is. I'm swear to God. I mean, it's just, you know, Jeff Keighley's like one left open laptop away from, you know, like going to jail. I just feel it. Just something. So. Just, you know, if he's going to start doing ads for Subway sandwiches, I don't know. It's just something about him. I felt like is always off. And what he does with
the bad guy.
I don't know. Yeah.
We see that in the beginning. Who's the bad guy in a movie?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Bad guy.
That guy right there. That guy. See that guy announcing that award? Yeah, that's the bad guy. I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. So anyway, this is what we look at. This is why I can't take the Game Awards seriously. This is why I don't get excited about Game of the Year. I mean, give me a fucking break, man. This is just, it's just hoopla. Ugh. Anyway, so that's our update. The Game Awards, we don't have to talk about that again until it actually happens, which is, when is it?
12th of December, I think.
12th of December. Yep, December 12th at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. So... luckily we get to vote for it. I mean, the people that actually vote for the candidates, the contenders are people like me and you, or like other people. I don't sign up for this. I could not care less. This is not. I just don't think having a game of the year is just so odd to me, because games are so varied. Am I boring you?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
David's over there yawning. God damn, this guy's going on and on. Just, you know, if there's like RPG of the year or action game of the year, that's. But how do you pick a game of the year? It's just such a weird thing.
Is it raining by you?
Yeah.
Well,
I thought I heard thunder.
that might be
Maybe.
me. We're
Oh,
having quite some storms here.
It is raining
oh.
here as well.
We've had some real bad flooding around the areas. Not me, but yeah, everyone else just got
Where you going,
flooded.
George?
So
So anyway, so moving on. I again, we'll kind of catch back up with that when we actually watch the awards and see a bunch of trailers for games that will be out. Who the fuck knows? So sometime when the next consoles roll out.
yeah, although the Game Awards aren't really friendly to us Europeans either, because every time
Yeah.
we have the show, it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for us, and then the real thing I don't like is how long it takes. It goes on forever. Well, at least the last couple of them.
It is so
I think
bloated, man. I mean, does
like,
anybody really want to watch like what's his name from Remedy like do a music number?
Yeah, I know. It's
Come on.
weird.
telling
It's
ya.
a weird thing. I mean, some of it's fine. Some of it's funny. Like actually hearing the devs is quite nice, but it's so much bloat in it. And then of course you have to have the ad breaks, and it's like, oh come on.
An ad in it
Yeah.
right now. I think I just read it was like $450,000. I think
Yeah,
for just one ad.
Ridiculous amounts.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing makes like millions of dollars every year. It's kind of ridiculous.
And I know half the ads are going to be there about Game Pass on every single device.
Ooh, maybe they'll shadow drop Light No Fire. Maybe that'll be a
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
like here's Sean Murray from
would
Hello
love to hear that.
Games, and he comes out and goes, "Hey man, like just download it now." That's not how he's
Imagine
British,
like every
but-
single ad break. Like, hey, this Fire Stick is an Xbox. Next ad. Hey, this PC is an Xbox.
Jeez.
Next ad. This Xbox is an Xbox.
Xbox, right? This pin, it's an Xbox. Okay, anyway, so we wanted to do something to kind of bring in the holidays. I put up my tree. I got my guitar lights up. I got my secondary tree. I got like a whole bunch of shit over here you can't even see. It's like to kind of bring in the holidays and talk about our favorite like holiday, Christmas gaming memories. And I think we're going to start with David because this was his idea, and I really like it. So,
Well, I guess I'll talk about the story of, when I was a kid, and I don't know what it was about Sega, but I wanted a Genesis like so badly. I think I think I played like TurboGrafx 16 or something, and I played like
wow, yeah.
Bonk's Adventure. Remember like
Bonks,
Bonk's
yeah.
Adventures? Yeah, and it was like a caveman, and you used to
like a big
crack
head,
people over. Yeah. You used to like bonk people.
headbutt everybody.
And then somebody
so
else
stupid.
I know had Sega. I mean, I played Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I really, really wanted a Genesis really badly, and my mom always makes fun of me about how I would have I had this Christmas list that I made in class in school when I was a kid, and it said what I want for Christmas, and had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
and then it just said Genesis over the whole thing.
Just like did Genesis.
It
man.
just said Genesis. And there was this big box under the tree, and I was sure it was Genesis for sure. I was like, "That's Genesis, gotta be." Our parents got it for me, And then so we in my family we sort of take turns opening gifts, and we sort of pile them up by name. This is David's gifts. This is Mom's gifts, and I had opened up a gift that looked like it could have been socks or a shirt or something.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for Sega Genesis.
Oh.
And the minute I saw that, it was like I instantly knew that box that was sitting over there was Genesis. And my mom had this look on her face like, "Oh shit, you weren't supposed to get that." Like you was
Just
who
open
put
the
that
other one over
there?
there. Yeah.
Like, oh shit. And then I don't know why, but I just started crying. I was like tearing up, and then look at my brothers are like, "Look at him, he's fucking crying, you little bitch, he's crying." And so I had gotten Sega Genesis, and I had gotten Michael Jackson Moonwalker. I had gotten Altered Beast.
Man,
And
they set you up.
Yeah, no, like I had gotten 2 games that I really, really wanted to get, and I spent a lot of time on Moonwalker. Like, I got really fucking good at the game. I would, like just moonwalk the shit out of that game. I was moonwalking everywhere. I was killing everything. Um, but yeah, that was like definitely. I think almost every single Christmas, my family likes to bring up that story about accidentally putting Michael Jackson Moonwalker in a present and me getting it accidentally. And yeah, that was like my journey into video games. Like that was the very first real thing, and it started with Christmas. I mean, it literally started right then and there. I mean, like I said, I played Nintendo, but I didn't play anything like I played Genesis. I
Was that
played
your
it all
first
the time.
console? Like your first actual console?
I
Or
want to say, nah, I want to say we had Nintendo for sure.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was more of like a casual thing. There were a couple of games on Nintendo that I really, really played a lot. Castlevania was one that I really played a lot. Um, and a couple of other like games here and there. Maybe I don't know. Base Wars, was Base Wars on some wrestling games.
Base Wars. I don't
Nothing,
remember that
nothing
one.
that really like immersed me into like I wanted to know the story and I wanted to know what this was about and that was about. I think if I saw Altered Beast on a magazine, I would absolutely buy that magazine and I would want to know
Hmm.
all the tips and the tricks and everything. It never really occurred to me. I think there was one time when like my brother found out some kind of like hidden secret in Mario and he was like, "Let me show you something." Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Is Metal Gear for Nintendo?
Uh huh.
Yeah, it was Metal Gear, and he was like, "I bet you I can beat this game in 3 minutes." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You can't beat this game in 3 minutes." And he's like, "No, why? We wouldn't want you want to make a bet?" And he betted me something. But
Cheater.
he fucking knew, like an
Yeah.
asshole. He fucking knew. And yeah, no, he I guess he read in a magazine that if you do this and you go here and you punch this wall and you're going through here, you can get to the last level and you could just beat the last guy in like 2 seconds. And I was like, "You motherfucker, you fucking knew the whole time." And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
He's like, "Now that whatever
if,
I
so-
bet him was like, now that's mine,
yeah.
motherfucker." And I'm like, "Fuck you."
If someone is confident, don't take up the bet.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I was only a little boy. but uh, but
Life
yeah,
lesson.
but it was like I mean that's an example of like how like I just played for fun. It wasn't necessarily something that I was like super immersed in. Whereas when Genesis came out, it was like super immersed in it, and then I wanted the Sega CD. I absolutely wanted the Sega CD. I still have a lot of my Sega CD collection stuff that my wife, urged me to put in the attic, which I'm very pissed about because I want it out. But I
Yeah.
really don't have any room for it, and I really don't play it. So but that was I think and as far as like Genesis, did I get Sega CD for Christmas? I'm not really sure, but I think I saved up all my money to get the Sega CD. But yeah, I mean that was probably the Christmassy thing, and getting video games for Christmas. It's always been that. It's always been I'm gonna get this game for Christmas. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's and we're gonna play video games together on Christmas. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
is like a Christmassy thing to do. So yeah, that's my little story.
Awesome. Liam, have you got one that's similar? I know you don't celebrate Christmas, but
Yeah, I don't actually celebrate Christmas, but oddly enough, I think I actually started on the Genesis too.
Really?
Yeah, that's what you get when you have two big brothers. So you get all the
Nice.
like the consoles. It's like, oh yeah.
so
you
they
get two big-
upgrade and give you the old one.
Yeah, yeah.
Give it to
so,
your brother.
So yeah, I was brought up on consoles, and that's why I find it very hard to go to PC now. Even though I've got my PC, because I was brought up on consoles. We had the Genesis or Mega Drive as I knew it.
Yeah.
I don't know why the name changed, but it was always the Mega Drive over here.
What was like a game you really enjoyed on that system, or like you remember?
The Lion King and Aladdin,
The Lion King? Oh, and Aladdin. Aladdin was
I played
actually pretty
Aladdin.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
Aladdin was a sleeper, man.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
which I was really happy about because they remastered them and you can play them on modern consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ported them over. So, and hard as it
Okay.
was. So I remember that from like the Genesis, and we had a Nintendo 64.
Okay.
GoldenEye, always. You know,
GoldenEye, yeah. It's
GoldenEye with
classic.
my brothers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No Odd Job, no Golden Gun. Play it properly.
No
Nice.
OP.
Yeah.
But
Zelda. I
did
loved
you
it.
end up getting the Sega CD, or you ended up like,
I don't remember the Sega CD. I don't
yeah?
remember that. So I remember we had Nintendo 64, and then we went to PlayStation,
Oh,
and
okay.
and then we had PS1 and PS2.
Yeah.
And after that, I went to Xbox. But yeah, that was some like just fun times growing up.
Yeah.
I think PS2 was just the absolute peak as well because it just had a game for everything.
Yeah, they really
Like, you,
did. They had a game for
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah, they literally had a game for every single thing
They
on that
did. Yeah.
library.
I mean, it's like
You
if
know
you
what?
can't find a PlayStation game you like, then you just don't like gaming.
Yeah, like even my dad was gaming because
Yeah.
we had some like snooker and billiards games, and he would play them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so there's a game for everything.
Yeah.
So
Whenever I think about the PlayStation, I'm always reminded of when I was in college, and I didn't finish college. I just my first year of college. There was a guy in my class, Asian guy, and he was American, and he said, "Hey, do you know anybody that wants to buy a PlayStation?" And I was like, "Well, I have a PlayStation, but what are you selling?" He's like, "Well, when I was in the military, I was stationed in Japan, and so I have a PlayStation. I have a modded PlayStation that plays
Ooh.
Japanese and American games,
Yeah.
and I have over 300, anywhere from 300 to 400 games
Holy
that you
cow.
can't find." And he's like, "You know anybody that would want to buy it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll fucking buy that fucking thing."
Yeah.
So I bought it, and it was literally like four or five binders of games, and he
Whoa.
yeah,
had crazy shit on. Let me tell you something.
Oh,
He
from
had like
Japan? Yeah.
from
yeah,
Japan,
Oh my
like he
god.
had games that were like porn. Like some of
Oh
them were
yeah.
like there was like porn shit, and
Hmm.
I was like, "What is this?" Like what the fuck is this? I had Japanese games. I had like every
Tentacles.
single game. Yeah, I had like every single fucking game under the sun. It was like
yeah,
ridiculous some of the shit that I
Oh,
had.
that's so lucky.
Um, yeah, and then I remember just like giving it away like years. I'm talking years
what?
later. This was like years
Yeah.
later, like 10, 15 years later. This shit is just collecting dust. It doesn't even really work. And yeah, I just put it on Craigslist like, "Come and get it. I don't want this anymore." And some guy showed up and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give it to my kids." I'm like, "I don't even think you know what you have right now.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you
Yeah,
just
don't
took
give
from
that to
me."
your kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, "Oh, my kids will just figure it out." And I'm
Oh
like, "You
yeah.
fucking have no clue what
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is.
they will.
Okay, have fun. Merry Christmas."
Yeah, I had some modded PS2 growing up as well, so I don't know where they came from, but my friends all just chipped in
They
to
just
get these
yeah.
modded PS2s, and that's what we'd
Yeah,
play because we didn't have enough money to buy like latest stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I remember growing up, and I think we look back on gaming growing up really fondly because it was sort of in its infancy, and
Hmm.
everybody was trying something. Like
Yeah.
we don't get that now because it's all tested and tried and
Yeah,
what
it's got to appeal
makes
to
money.
everybody. Yeah.
But back
Yeah.
then they were just experimenting. They were like,
Hmm.
hey, let's just make a game of this, and everyone was trying something that was all new, and we're all like, oh, look at this, look at this. So I think that's why we get a lot of nostalgia because it was just starting out, and we grew up with it. Like
Yeah.
we grew up with gaming, so we're still gamers. But yeah, when you have that nostalgia, it doesn't hit the same. Even if it was terrible at the time, you remember it so fondly because those memories are absolutely precious and made us, just gamers anyway.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I
But yeah,
oh,
go
go
for
ahead.
it.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I think because of what we went through in the past, we sort of appreciate. We not appreciate, but maybe have a different perspective when we play games now. Like I mean, I know I have moments when I play No Man's Sky and I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe we got to this point where I'm like,
Yeah,
I have a
no.
VR headset right now, and I'm flying to different worlds. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I was like dreaming about when I was a kid. Like, yeah, imagine if there was a game when I can get into a spaceship and I could fly to distant worlds and I
Hmm.
can see different alien races. And it's, I have those moments when I play some games where I'm just kind of like, I can't believe this is happening right now. I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm living this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Or when like an actual old game that deserves a remake gets a remake, and you look at the
yeah,
graphics and they look so good, but you're like, that's how it looked when I played,
they're like,
wasn't
this is
it?
not
Yeah,
the
it's like
same.
this is
No,
how I
no.
Yeah.
remember it.
This is how I remember it. Exactly
Yeah.
how I remember
Yeah.
it. You look at it back, it's like, no, it did not like that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
I oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's amazing how our imaginations played with us when we were just so into like just playing a game.
Yeah, I think
Like when we were growing up, we just did not care what it looked like.
uh-uh.
We did not care.
Well, because your imagination just like fills in the gaps. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
That's
And
what we
then-
don't
and then-
have
and-
anymore.
And then we're old and
Right.
crumbliness now. It's like, oh, we don't have that, and we would argue
Like,
with it
oh,
on Twitter
that
instead.
texture's fucked up. Game's a piece of shit. Yeah.
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 Well, I predate both of you. So, one Christmas, my brother and I, we saw a box under the tree, so we measured it, and we had a friend. We lived in an apartment complex, and we had a friend across the parking lot, and he had gotten an Atari 2600 for his birthday. And we ran over there, and we were like knocking on the door, like, "Hey, did you keep the box?" And he's like, "Well, of course. Like, we need to see the box. Like, what do you need to see? Like, hey, just give me the box." So he brings out the box, and we measure it. Like, it's the same. It's the same size, exactly. Like, that's an Atari. So we go back home, and my dad, we were obviously on like Christmas vacation, so we weren't at school. My dad left at like 7 in the morning and came home about 4:30ish. So what we would do is we would take, it was like wedged under the tree so that one end of it was just, on the wall. So we took it out from under the tree, gently untaped one side of it, took the Atari out, plugged it up to the
No
TV. We played
No
all day long. At about 4 o'clock, wrapped everything back up, put it back in the box,
way.
and then shoved it back under the tree. We did that like for 4 days straight, like up to Christmas. And we, thank God, it didn't like save anything. Like, like having our
Yeah, yeah.
names, like,
Yeah.
oh, look. So, of course, Christmas
Yeah.
morning or whatever, we get up.
You,
and-
you wouldn't be able to do that today, would you? It's like-
No, not at all.
With the Xbox, they're like, hi, you're back again.
It's like, how come your character that you're not supposed to have is level 28? So of course, no, it's Christmas Eve night. So our family came over and we're opening presents, and my dad's like, don't open that one yet. And we're like, sure. So we open everything, and he's like, yeah, open that one. And we open it and we're like, oh my God, it's an Atari 2600. Oh, yay, let's hook it up now. And we're like hooking up. And I don't think he caught on, but I remember my brother like just going, and it was hooked up to the TV, and my dad was kind of like, like back then with the Atari 2600, you didn't just plug it into the TV. You had to take like a butter knife and some screws and put this adapter and find the channel.
It was like
and it was
RC
like
adapter.
he did that, and I'm like, dude, slow down. He's like, click, and then it was like playing it, and Dad was kind of like, huh. And
Smart.
yeah, so
I've got smart kids here.
but this is my dad though, right? So we're playing Asteroids and we're playing together, and it was, I don't know what time it was, but he's like, yeah, okay, it's bedtime. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's bedtime. Like, okay, all right. So we put it down, and he goes to turn it off. My brother goes to turn it off. He's like, no, just leave that on. I'm like, okay. So we go to bed, and before we even get to bed, turn around, and he's like on the couch, like just like going to town on it. I'm like, if he only knew. But yeah, that was something that was, we were
That's
still
hilarious.
excited to get it because then we could play
Yeah.
it freely without like thinking,
Yeah.
oh my God, what if he comes home early? we're so screwed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was
That's dangerous.
yeah.
I remember doing that with sometimes not to do with Christmas, but like when I had consoles growing up with my brothers, I would play because it wasn't mine,
Right.
my brothers. So I would play, I would play games when they weren't looking,
When they weren't
when
there,
there. And I don't remember the games. I don't remember playing on it, but I remember seeing a Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, I need to play this Dreamcast because I saw the Dreamcast. I saw the whole book of games,
Yeah.
the binders and everything, huge amount of games. I could not find the wires because someone hit them.
They unplugged it.
Yeah,
That's
they-
smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't want to
that's
come
what
home
they
and
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also the thing that also happened with siblings or any sharing games, especially if you're young. So, because I was always the little brother, so I was a lot younger. And I did this with my cousins when they grew up as well. Is you'd give them a controller. And it
Oh, but don't plug it up. Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, look, you're doing
like,
well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yay, I can do that."
My son and I did that to my daughter because she would get mad, and I took an old Xbox controller that didn't work anymore, and I just cut the cable off of it. Man, she'd sit there, and she was just into it, man. Just for the just as long as you needed her to. She was just like going to town.
killing it.
Yeah, I was like, get him.
You know what were great games for kids, and I don't know why they don't really make these games anymore. But like I used to play back in the day. Do you remember like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're like full cartoons, animated cartoons.
Don Bluth. Yeah, did the animations. Yeah.
Right, and it was like a full cartoon, and if you got the combination of controls right, you would move on. If you didn't, you would watch your character die
And then pay another dollar.
in an animated way. Yeah, what I had it for Sega CD, and they had some other ones too. They had Road Avenger, this one called Road Avenger.
Oh yeah, I
which
remember
was
that.
like, yeah, that one I loved. Oh my god, Road Avenger for Sega CD.
Wasn't that
I
Road
used
Rash?
to play that. No. It was like a cartoon. It was no
I'm
different
thinking
than
of
Dragon's
Road
Lair.
Rash. Okay.
Yeah, Road Rash was great too because
Yeah.
me and my brother used to play that and used to
Yeah.
beat the hell out of people. Yeah, but like Road Adventure was like a cartoon, and you were in a car the whole time. You were in a Trans Am the whole time, and it was very Mad Max sort of killing bad guys, and it used to say, make a right, and you would have to make the right, and it would animate and would make a right or a left, or it would say accelerate right at this one moment. You would accelerate and knock the guy off the bike or something like that. And I remember playing that game so damn much that they had a mode where you can take off all of the hints before you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to make a right,
Right.
you're supposed to make a left, you're supposed to accelerate. I would just know what to press. and when
Hardcore
to press
mode.
it. Like hardcore mode.
Yeah.
And I would just play the game. I do just play the game like that from then on.
Wow.
And yeah, no, it was just ridiculous how many times I played that one. I loved it. You don't really see games like that. They really should make a game that's like an entire movie. Well, I didn't wait. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, didn't Netflix do something like that?
I think it tried, yeah.
They did. They had something where you could with your remote select
What to do.
what would happen or what to do. Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's
not
not
the same.
Yeah,
as
it
what
was
I'm
more like a
thinking.
choose your own adventure kind of thing, not a
Yeah. But I think that would be kind of cool to bring that back, like some kind of like an animated movie, maybe like a Studio Ghibli type,
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke looking type
Yeah.
game where.
just
But-
like selected. Hit your right arrow now. They did a lot of the games like similar to that on the Sega CD. I had Sewer Shark.
Sewer Shark, yep,
And
that was one.
I had another one. I don't remember what it was though. I bought the Genesis and the CD together when it was bundled.
Yeah.
When it was like $400, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with that. And I had a neighbor kid. He'd come over every Saturday. Bap, 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 bap. Like, what? He's like, I want to play his Genesis. I'm like, okay, go tell your mom where you are, because I know you didn't. and I don't want to get the police called on me. He's like, all right. So he goes back. He comes back, and I come out on my porch, and she's like, yeah, he's fine. I'm like, okay. And he'd sit in the floor, man, for about 2 hours, and he'd just go to town. He didn't care what it was, because she wouldn't let him have one. And it was whatever game it was, man. He would just sit in the floor. I'd get some work done. I was doing some like computer stuff, you know. Man, he just had a blast with that. But I remember at the same time when I did get a computer finally. I remember one Christmas I did photo finishing, custom photo finishing for a lab. Hated it. I hated that job. Probably the worst job I've ever had. And the boss I worked for, he wasn't really the problem. He was kind of nice, but this is one of those jobs is like, it's Christmas Eve. Can we go home early? You know? And it's like,
yeah.
What? What do you mean go home early on Christmas? So we never got to do that. And some reason, this Christmas Eve, he gave us all those like Hillshire Farms, like sausage and cracker cheese things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Some are like summer sausage and a little, you know. Like
yeah. The cheap little.
Yeah, he gave us all
American
one of those, and then about 1 o'clock, before that was a thing. Before it was around noon, I guess. He was like, "Shut it down, we're going home," and we were all like, "What? We get to go home early?" Rebel Assault 2 just came out on CD-ROM, and I immediately got him throw that Hillshire Farms in the front seat, went to Egghead Software, I got Rebel Assault 2, went straight home, sat on my desk and opened up that thing, and man, and I didn't have anything to do until like 7 o'clock that night when I had to go to like my family's house. Man, I put in Rebel Assault 2 in my CD-ROM. I'm eating like sausage and cheese and crackers and shit, and man, that was just like the best Christmas Eve. To just, you know, a new game, which it wasn't very good, but who cares? Something to eat and just, you know, some peace. It was like peaceful to just get to do that. I remember that. That's like the only time at that job that I remember that was actually pleasant. So, but yeah. Uh-oh. What you doing?
George.
He's trying to get out of the window.
George out of the jungle. He's trying to get out the window.
He is.
The guy next door's got a Sega CD.
Right. No, he's probably got one of those Hillshire Farm sausage cheese things. Like,
did you say sausage, Dad?
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna eat some sausage. That dog will eat anything. Good God. But yeah, fond memories. I think being a gamer or being like in gaming, I think we get the best part of Christmas. I think that, you know, I think our memories of fun, you know, you can do like, oh man, when I got my Red Ryder BB gun, it's like, who gives a shit? That was 1 year. Let me tell you, every year I got a game or a console or, you know, I can remember each one of them getting like Star Wars for Atari 2600. I was at my grandmother's house and we were doing Christmas Eve and I opened that and I just opened it and I saw I'm like, can I go home? Can somebody take me home? Can I go home now? I didn't even want to open anything else. I was like, let's go. And and it wasn't long for my dad took me home and let me sit there and play Star Wars on the Atari until I fell asleep in the floor.
Yeah, you know, I think as well, because, you know, we all like the same thing when it comes to gaming, that we all have like similar memories if we played that specific game.
Yeah, probably. Like when it came out and how you acquired it.
We can all share it. And especially like, for example, the Tomb Raider games, you know, because they've just remastered them. The old classic on the PS1, I think it was, PS1, wasn't it?
PS1, yeah.
First. And, you know,
and
that
CD-ROM.
old trick, locking the butler in the fridge.
No.
You remember that?
You could lock the butler in the fridge? Why would you do that?
I say fridge, like freezer room, like
freezer. What's wrong with you?
You're sick. You've been playing too many Black Ops Call of Duty zombies.
Watch Shining too much.
There's a place where they sort of have like the meat and the whole
Yeah.
room, and they can just lock
Yeah,
them in.
yeah.
Oh, that's
We
terrible.
know what the freezer
But
meat is.
I did that.
Scratching in the window.
This was like days before YouTube, before social media, before
Oh, yeah.
phones.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for some reason, instinctively, everyone did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like Sims, we talk about Sims as like locking somebody in a room that doesn't have
Yeah.
any doors or windows, and
Yeah. All
Watching
the
them
Sims
die.
that we just killed them all.
it's
But we
like
just did
everybody
that.
did the same
And then
thing.
you go fast forward later. I bought the remasters. That's the first thing I did. I was like, where's the game? Where's the game? Where is it?
Yep.
Where is it? Where is it? Right, look it in, and it's an achievement.
Is it really? Oh, of course
Yeah.
it is. You're
Because
such
I
an
think-
achievement whore.
because after YouTube, that's what people shown. It's like
Yeah.
for some reason we didn't need any guides or anything to tell us, oh, there's a secret here. We just did it.
Just did it. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Deep down,
but
we're all just horrible, deprived
yeah,
people.
we're just horrible people. It's like punish everyone. But
Yeah, you say
yeah.
that back then there was no there was no outlet or media for that. I mean, they had gaming magazines, but they didn't come out when the game came out. They came out like a month
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
But I remember going to school and having a game for like Atari, and it's like, man, I can't get past this level, man. It's as I get up to it, and they're like, oh, you need to go talk to Charles. Like, why? It's like, Charles has had the game since like it came out. He has
Yeah.
beat it 3 times. So it's like, okay. So then, of course, you got to wait until recess, and then recess comes up, and you're like, hey, Charles, man, I need some help getting by this, I need to get through this level, and I hear that, you know how to do this. And he's like, well, I do, but you need to go talk to Jimmy and tell him to stop hassling my sister. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. But that's how you got information,
Yeah.
It's like you
Yeah.
couldn't, it's like through the, like you go to school and you're like, hey, you're at the locker, and it's like, hey man, I need help with this. And it's like, who can I talk to? And it's like, oh, you go talk to that guy. It's like, okay. Oh, well, bell rang. And it's like, it was like an all day thing, like a mission to try to get this information. And then of course
Yeah.
you had to remember it. You didn't write it down, of course.
Yeah.
And you get home, and the first
Yeah.
thing you do is, you try this thing out. Like the codes for Contra, you just have to,
Yeah.
just keep saying it over and over again so you remember it.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I
we're so
I
spoiled
remember-
now.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
being as a kid. I used to be like really good at games. I'm terrible now, but I used to be
That's what
really,
happens.
really good.
Yeah.
I know,
Happens
just
with a lot of
in-
things.
Yeah, in a lot of games, I just happen to be like really good, and people are like, "How do you beat that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just playing it."
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a couple of like games that I would play. Like a friend of mine lent me a game, Stuntman, on PS2, which I love the Stuntman games. I wish they came back.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, you did like a car, and you had to like jump through like these
Yeah.
things, and stuff would explode. Like, and the
Yeah.
director was like, action.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I remember those.
They were so fun. I want those kind of games to come back. Anyway, but so he lent me his game, right? It's like, right, in 2 hours I want it back.
What is
these
he,
days, I'm like-
Blockbuster?
Yeah, but I don't know what it was, but it's like he just lent me it for like an afternoon or something, like a couple of hours. And so I was like, all right. So I went home, played it, and I completed like 80% of the game.
Wow.
So I said that to him. I said, "How did it?" I said, and he was like, "Are you a robot? Are you a machine? How the hell did you do that?"
I am a robot.
Yeah, and then yeah. And
Like,
again,
how
I think-
you should have just told us, like, how are you not doing this? How are you
Yeah.
not beating
Yeah.
this? This is so easy. What's wrong with
and
you?
I think I think it was a Splinter Cell game where a friend of mine, I was around his house, we're playing, I'm watching him, and he can't get past this boss on this level. So I was just like, "Hey, can I have the controller?" He's like, "Oh, fine then." So I just looked up. I was crouched down, looked up, and I just popped him in the head. Like, there you go.
It's like, I spent $50 on this.
It's like, what did you do? So I just finished it. There you go.
Yeah, I think we've all done that at one point. It's like, I've watched you die like 60 times. I think I figured it
Yeah.
out. You're not getting it. This is
Yeah.
not getting past you.
Yeah.
Give me the controller.
I think when it came to like not being able to beat somebody, like I remember I played Skyrim once, and I
What?
was like wandering around, and I found this like I don't know who it was. I found this. It looked like a church almost, like, but it was like in a cave. And I didn't play Skyrim that much, so I don't really know that much about it. But this guy just like eviscerated me, like completely annihilated me. And I like walked in like, hey, maybe I have to talk to this guy. And I walked up to him and I was like, hey, do I have to talk to you? And he just turned around and just, just beat the shit out of me. And I was so like worked up, like physically. I was
Yeah.
like so upset about it. And so I I leveled myself up, and not only did I level myself up in that game, but like I figured out like how like you could get experience points and then use those points to level up other things about you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, uh I found that like if you sneak in this one area where there's like a monster, you can rack up the points. So I literally taped my controller and I left the game on, and I'm sneaking in this corner. Just my character's just sneaking in that corner. I went to work, and when I came back, I was like
Oh, you
level a
cheater.
million. Yeah, and I used all my fucking points to magic, and I buffed myself, and I'm gonna go fuck this guy up. And I went over there, and I'm like at the door, and the guy's over there, and I'm like, all right, how am I gonna do this? Because this guy's he's gonna be a challenge, you know. I just ran over there with a mace and just pow. He gets on the floor, and I'm like, all right, now we're gonna fight. He just doesn't get up. That's it. It's
He's
over.
dead. He's dead. He's
I
gone.
spent weeks preparing for this fight that literally took 2 seconds because I was just so. That's how I've always been with RPGs. Like if I lose on that first boss, I don't fight that next boss until I'm like level 80 or something.
Yeah.
Like I over prepare, you know.
Yeah, I did that with Elden Ring. I'm like, oh, he beat me. Okay, I'll be back in 40 levels. Whoop your ass.
I think that's deserved in Elden Ring though,
Yeah.
or Souls
I
games.
I gave
Yeah.
I gave my dad Skyrim for Christmas one year.
Oh, okay.
Because as much as a hunter fisherman that he is, he likes fantasy stuff. He just wouldn't admit it.
Oh, okay.
So I gave him that game, and he tried it, and about a couple of months later, I went to see him, and I'm like, how did you like that game? He goes, oh, I loved it. He said, I beat it. I said, really? He goes, yeah. Well, he played the campaign. I mean, he played the main story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'd get the dragon, and I'm like, I really liked it. I finished it. I'm like, well, there's more to do. And he goes, well, I'm kind of done with it. But he did have a question about it. So let's just boot it up and let's take a look at it. And I go in and I look at his character, and he was like level 48 or something. He had not spent 1 point. Like, he didn't, not 1 point.
What?
He beat that entire game without spending any. He didn't realize to go and like add it to these things. It's just like he beat the whole game, not at level 48, but not having any extra anything. I'm like, damn.
That's amazing.
Like, holy shit. He's that
Yeah,
game was
yeah.
hard.
He
I'm
did a
like, hell
YouTube
yeah, I guess it
challenge without
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did like a
get to
YouTube
stream
challenge.
like level 0 Skyrim playthrough.
Yeah. We're gonna beat
No
Skyrim
shit.
today. He's like streaming. He's like, we're gonna beat Skyrim today and not use one single point. Let's go,
Yeah.
Chad.
Right.
Let's go.
Level up, screw it, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't spend anything. He did had all kinds of armor
Amazing.
and all kinds of shit, but he just didn't. It didn't. I think it was just like it probably popped up, and he's like, get out of my way. But
Yeah.
that's funny.
You're annoying
Crazy.
me. I'm trying to fight this dragon.
Yeah.
You know, you should really spend some points on stealth. Get out of here.
Right. What? That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, the holidays
right,
are
well,
upon
go
us.
Dad.
Bring
Yes.
bring on our holiday games. See, right now I would be playing Avowed, and I would also be playing Path of Exiles 2 if it wasn't for them just deciding that they wanted to delay them. So whatever.
Well, at least we have Indiana Jones next month, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess.
I love Indiana Jones, but
I
I'm
do
not
too.
that excited.
I'm a
about that
huge
game.
fan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited to play it. I don't know how it's going to be, but it's
Yeah.
another game to try.
I'm hoping that I will be pleasantly surprised. I did have a weird dream the other night about Troy Baker, who does the.
Eh,
Shut up.
all right. Well, where are we going with this?
So he does the voice for Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
and I had a dream that I was in the game with Troy Baker, and it was kind of more like a VR game. But I was like, and I was like, okay, what do I do? And he goes, okay, well, go over there and pick your character. And there was these statues that look like, like statues from the movie, like something you would grab from like a tomb or something.
Like
but
an
they're
idol.
right, yeah, like an idol. But like one of them had like a hat and a whip or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's going to be you. And he goes, no, this is your game. You can play Indiana Jones. I'll pick this guy, and he picked some other dude that. If he's in the game, then I'm going to freak out because I don't. But so I pick Indiana Jones, and then I'm Indiana Jones. And I thought it was so funny because when I did it, I could see my hat, right? And I remember being like 12 years old and creating a Indiana Jones video game that was first person. And I drew out all the concept art with like the brim of the hat at the top of the screen. Yeah. And I remember seeing, I was like, why do they not have that in the game?
Yeah.
Would that not be like, would that not feel like
more
you
immersive? At least in VR, you should have something like that. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, no, I mean just in first person. The whole game's first person. Why wouldn't you have, a little bit of a
And then your hat
HUD?
falls off your head, and then you have to go in and grab it before the thing closes on your hand.
Right,
He always did that
then,
in every movie. He was like, always would grab his hat.
Yeah. Your character looks down. It's like, oh, it's gone.
Right,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
get punched and it comes off, and you got to go find it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway, we did all these like cool things, like in first person, obviously, and stuff, and it kind of made me a little bit more excited about the game. This is the way my brain works. This is just fucking weird, but so I woke up and I'm like, oh, when does that game come out? And then of course I watched some trailers again of it, and it's I don't know, man. It's hard to get excited about anything AAA. It really is. I hate to say that, but I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be any good. We'll see.
Yeah. I think that's a problem with the probably game reception. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the game is going to be a great game because I think machine games do they do good work.
They do good.
But is it a great Indiana Jones game? That will be its sort of reception.
Well, okay. All Indiana Jones games that they've made, except for the evil one for Nintendo, dear God, no one's ever finished that game, has been about puzzles. It's been more about solving puzzles.
Yeah.
Less. Everybody thinks, oh, it's like Tomb Raider. No, they've really never been about more like Tomb Raider. Probably the one by the one on Xbox, the original Xbox, the Emperor's Tomb, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
That was more action-oriented, Tomb Raider-ish. But historically, they've been more about solving puzzles. So if it's more like that, I think I will enjoy it, and less trying to be like a movie and trying to actually be an Indiana Jones game. I think they'll do good.
Yeah.
If they try to just make a movie game first person, I don't know if that's going to really resonate with people. Plus, I don't know if Liam, you're much younger. What are your thoughts on Indiana Jones? Do you like Indiana Jones or just?
I do like Indiana Jones. It's been ages since I've seen the films. I haven't seen like the recent one, which is terrible anyway.
Yeah, just don't. Yeah.
But I do remember.
Cancel Disney
watching
Plus.
the films. Yeah, I do remember watching the films and enjoy them. So I might, give them a try again.
Yeah.
The old ones.
Yeah, I grew up with these movies. These are some of my favorite movies.
Yep.
So
I mean that music
don't
is
mess
always
it
gonna be iconic as well. So.
Hell yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. I think that's it, guys. Let's wrap this up, and I have some presents to wrap.
Aww.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, they're for somebody else. My wife just got a new 32-inch monitor for herself, so maybe I'll just buy myself something. Well, I guess I kind of did. I got a new PC, so I think our Christmas is done for us. So,
Listen, you've got me wanting to look at getting a new PC. Actually, even though
Well-
I really don't need one.
Well, this is I was going to wait till next year. But with the election and January, and then they're talking about having tariffs and this and that. I don't know what that's going to do for the market, going into the next
Right.
year for processor and something like that. So I just jumped the gun and I went ahead and got one because I didn't know if the prices for like CPUs and GPUs were just going to like skyrocket. So that may have been a mistake, or it may have been next year I might be like, oh wow, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the market can be volatile sometimes. So
It can, and right now it's good. I mean, again, I paid basically the same amount what I paid 2 years ago, and I got a much better PC. So I use Skytech Gaming. These guys are great. The PC is great. The customer service is great. The guy called me on the phone, told me it's like, hey man, I shipped your computer.
Hey,
I'm like,
man.
you could have emailed me. He goes, nah, I like calling my customers. I'm like, holy shit, who does that, right?
Was he like, hey man,
He was.
I shipped your PC.
Hey man, if you find like a T-shirt in it or something, I'm missing one. Might have fallen in there. I don't know. No, but they package it really well. I got it in, plugged it up. Everything so far has been really good. So if you're looking for a PC, I recommend at least giving them a try. And I got it for being in Canada. It only took like 3 days to get here. So
Okay.
yeah, good stuff, man.
It passed by me before it got to you.
It did. It went right through New York. It's probably you were probably like in traffic, and FedEx truck was like, "Hey, fuck you! What are you doing over there?"
Hey, buddy. Hey, how you doing? Hey,
what are you?
gotta get this fucking PC to Nashville.
Right. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, do it. Get you an upgrade.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
think prices are going to get better next year. So if you get one now, you might, like I said, it might be something where you're like, "Ooh, I'm glad I did that," or I guess I could have waited. So whatever.
Yeah. Or at the very least, I can just maybe upgrade the ones I have.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Get a new GPU
Cool.
before the prices go nuts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, next week.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Next week it'll be. Well, wait a minute. Next week is. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. I forgot what day it was.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Except Liam, they don't do that there. They also don't celebrate July 4th, which is really
Listen,
weird.
have a cup of tea for me on Thursday,
Yeah.
right?
Have a bit of pudding.
Have
Yeah.
a biscuit and a tea for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, it's almost like there's other countries outside America.
No way. Get out of here.
Do y'all have turkeys over there?
Yes, but they're very polite.
Right. Gobble gobble.
They go,
Yes. Yes. Oh, goddamn. Let's get out of here.
all right.
See you next week. Bye.
See you now, guys.